The community ice rink was buzzing that winter evening, but not with the usual joy of a youth hockey game. It was a battlefield where class and status clashed under the guise of a winter youth exhibition. Families draped in designer coats filled the stands, their sunglasses glinting off the glass like they were judging a runway, not a kid's game. At the center of it all was my little brother, Lucas, 16, a quiet kid who flinched at compliments and mumbled apologies for existing. But on the ice, he was magic fast, fluid, like the wind had chosen him. It was his first time skating in front of a crowd, and his hand shook as I helped lace his worn skates. "You've got this," I told him, squeezing his shoulder. He nodded, but his eyes said he didn't believe it. I did, though. I believed in him more than anything. The game kicked off, and I sat behind the glass, fists clenched, watching Lucas weave through defenders. He hadn't scored yet, but he was close, a spark of confidence flickering in his nervous gaze. That's when she appeared, Marissa, the self-proclaimed queen of the HOA. She didn't play, didn't coach, but stood at the sidelines like she owned the rink. Arms crossed, jaw tight, her eyes locked on Lucas like a hawk spotting prey. She saw what I saw, a kid about to steal the spotlight. And Marissa hated when someone beneath her dared to shine. Lucas broke free on the left, spun past two defenders, and sent the puck soaring into the net. The crowd roared, but the elite parents in their fur-lined seats barely clapped. Elias sped, their applause thin and forced. I didn't care. I slammed my hands against the glass, screaming his name, my heart pounding like a drum. Lucas didn't smile, he just nodded, like he was scared to let the joy sink in. That's when Marissa stood, her ivory heels clicking like gunshots on the concrete. Her lips pursed, her fake HOA badge gleaming like a medal she hadn't earned. She looked at me, then at Lucas, and leaned into the rink marshal, whispering something that made him pale. She pointed at Lucas, her nod cold and mechanical, like she was signing his exile. My stomach twisted. She didn't just want him off the ice. She wanted him broken. I stood, heat rising in my throat. "Don't you dare," I muttered, my fist balling up. The officials started whispering, glancing at Lucas, who stood oblivious us, panting, proud of his goal. Then Marissa stepped onto the ice, her coat flapping like a cape, her arrogance screaming louder than words. No one stopped her, not the marshals, not the refs, not the suits in the stands pretending they didn't see. I watched, nails biting into my palms, blood boiling, but I held still. For Lucas. For now. Marissa skated toward him, slow, deliberate. "What are you doing out here?" she snapped, her voice dripping with disdain. Lucas blinked, confused. "I'm on a red team, ma'am." "That wasn't a real goal," she sneered, loud enough for the stands to hear. "You pushed too hard. Illegal." It wasn't. Everyone knew it. But she circled him like a shark, reaching for his jersey. "This isn't even regulation color. Who let you on this ice?" Lucas stepped back, startled. "Coach said," "Wrong coach," she cut in, eyes narrowing. "You're done." Before I could shout, she swung her hockey stick. The wood cracked against Lucas's shin, a sound like a gunshot ripping through the rink. He cried out, collapsing, his helmet slamming the ice. The crowd gasped. One mom shrieked. Marissa stood there, cold, victorious. I snapped. The gate flew open, bouncing off its hinges as I sprinted toward her, rage blurring the world. "You crossed the line," I growled, teeth clenched. "You hurt my brother." Marissa turned, that smug smirk still plastered on her face. "Oh, please. He doesn't belong here. Neither do you." That was it. That smirk, that voice. She thought she was untouchable. I'd show her how it felt to fall. I didn't skate, I launched. My boots hit the ice like blades, cutting through the rink. Lucas was still down, clutching his shin, groaning. Marissa laughed, a sharp cackle, like she'd swatted a fly, not assaulted a kid in front of hundreds. "Weak bones," she said, loud for the stands. "That's what happens when they don't drink organic." The crowd froze. The HOA board sat silent, pretending they didn't know what to do. But I did. I was 5 feet away when she finally saw me. Fear flashed in her eyes, just a glitch, but I caught it. "Get off the ice," she ordered, her voice cracking. I didn't answer. I grabbed her stick, ripped it from her hands, and snapped it over my knee. It cracked like thunder. "You don't touch him," I snarled. "Ever." She lunged, maybe to shove me. Big mistake. I caught her wrist, twisted just enough to make her yelp, then kicked her skate, sweeping her off balance. She hit the ice hard, her hip thudding like a drum. Gasps echoed. Phones came out. The queen was falling, and I wasn't done. "You think you run this rink?" I hissed, towering over her. "Let the ice judge you." I grabbed her collar and dragged her, face first, across the rink. Her makeup smeared, her pearls scattered, her screams bounced off the boards. "Stop. You can't." I just did. I shot back. I pulled her past the center line, past the goal, until her face was raw with cold and shame. I dropped her at the penalty box fitting. She scrambled back, mascara running like black tears, her designer coat torn and soaked. The crowd was silent at first, then someone clapped. Another joined, then another. A slow wave of applause built, not for V.Y. Olents, but for Justice, the first crack in her frozen throne. Marissa slumped by the boards, a broken puppet, her lips trembling, her ego shattered. "You assaulted a community official," she croaked, voice cracking. "No," I snapped. I reminded a tyrant this isn't her kingdom. Behind me, medics rushed to Lucas, but I didn't move. Not till she got it. "You humiliated him," I said, teeth gritted. "For what?" "Because he wasn't rich enough for you." I pointed at the trail of her smeared makeup. "That's every lie you've sold this neighborhood, scraped raw. And now everyone's watching." The crowd stirred. A teen whispered, "She got my friend kicked off last season." A woman shouted, "She banned my daughter for wearing cheap skates." The air buzzed, a storm brewing. Marissa tried to stand, slipped, collapsed again. Her dignity shattered louder than her stick. "You're done," I said, voice low. "Final." The applause swelled, parents standing, clapping not for me, but for every kid Marissa had shamed, every family she'd bullied. I walked back to Lucas, fists still tight. Marissa had ruled through silence. Today, she drowned in noise. The scoreboard lit up, no longer showing scores but EVY emails, receipts, recordings. Parents shouted dates, fines, bans. The HOA treasurer, a gray-suited man with a briefcase, stepped forward. "I've had enough," he said, holding up a flash drive. "She's been stealing for years: landscaping, spa trips, wine shipments, all on HOA dime." The crowd surged, screens glowing with proof. Dulaw $1,000 for a HOA carpet. That was a rug in Marissa's office. Dulaw $800 monthly for a Tesla lease. Dulaw $5,000 her nephew's fake company. The treasurer plugged in the drive, and the scoreboard laid her legacy bare, line by corrupt line. Marissa staggered toward the exit, one heel broken, coat dragging. "I was protecting this neighborhood," she barked. "You were draining it," I shot back. "And getting paid." She backed away, voice faltering. "This is slander. We regret letting you run free this long," I said. The board chairman handed her a termination notice: immediate, lifetime ban, pending legal re-VYEW. Her hands shook as she took it, her kingdom ashes. The treasurer faced the crowd. "Full audit, 7 years starting today." Applause roared, not for drama, but freedom. I picked up Marissa's framed HOA photo from the ground and snapped it in half. "She ruled by fear," I told the crowd. "Fear doesn't live here anymore." Marissa shuffled out, the crunch of ice under her steps the only sound, her dignity gone. The rink fell quiet, just the hum of blades on ice. Lucas stood at the edge, one skate laced, his leg bruised but not broken. He stared at the ice, hesitant. I knelt, lacing his other skate. "You sure?" I asked. "You don't have to prove anything." He looked at me, thoughtful. "I know," he said, "but I want to." He stepped onto the rink, slow at first, then faster, stronger. Parents who'd once ignored him clapped quietly, some crying. Phones filmed, not for shock but pride. The treasurer leaned over. "Kid's good. Always was," I said. "They just never gave him space." Lucas glided, leaning into turns with a focus I hadn't seen in years. He stopped at center ice, raised his stick, and the crowd erupted real, raw cheers. A reporter approached. "Is that the kid Marissa tried to kick out?" "No," I said, smirking. "That's the kid who outlasted her." Lucas skated to me, breath fogging. Think I'll let me try out for the real team? Try out. I laughed. They'll beg. He grinned, free not from Marissa, but from fear. The rink, once her throne, was ours again. This wasn't just a win, it was a beginning. Let's go home, I said. One more lap? He asked. Take two. He kicked off, vanishing down the ice, skating into a future he owned. That day wasn't just about hockey. It was about every kid who walks home defeated, every rule twisted to favor the powerful. Marissa fell because her cruelty had nowhere left to hide. Power built on fear always cracks, and when it does, it shatters. But the real VY Tory? Lucas got back up, not just physically, but emotionally. He reclaimed the ice that broke him. Revenge felt good. Dragging Marissa's face across the rink wasn't subtle, but healing lasts. Speak up before silence becomes permission. Protect those who can't fight back, even if your voice shakes. Your worth isn't tied to status or HOA approval. Character outshines any jersey. Now, tell me, would you have stopped at dragging her across the ice or gone further? Was I too harsh, or did she deserve worse? Have you faced a Marissa in your life, someone who abused power and got away with it? How far would you go to protect someone you love? Drop your stories in the comments. I am reading everyone. If this fired you up, if you're all in for justice that doesn't wait, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More stories are coming, and the next tyrant won't see it coming. Stay sharp, stay loud,